What's going on, everybody? Travis with RAC Garage, and back in the shop again. Of course, where else would I be? And we're gonna finish the drop axle. So, on the way back home, stopped at good old Wasco and grabbed some oxygen. And I went up a size in the oxygen because I killed that old bottle in a day. If I'm gonna be doing more torch work, I don't want to have to fill the bottle every time I use it. Might have to step up in the acetylene too. I'm not sure. It still shows as just, I think, quite a bit, but I'm not a torch guy. I don't know how much is what, so let's see. 150 psi. I think that's quite a bit. So we're gonna heat these arms up again. Bring them away from the backing plate and twist that end so we can fit the tie rod in from the top, because like I showed before, there's a nice little path right there that this tie rod can go through. I might bend that brake line up a bit if it ends up getting in the way. I'm not sure. That was like weight on the spring, and there's that much room, so I think there's plenty of room for that tie rod. I'm just trying to get it as close to the wishbone as possible, so as much clearance to the frame as I can get. Should be enough to bend it, but why it's not bending, I don't know. Will it twist? Jeez. Alright, so I got the steering arms back where they belong and they're twisted up. Look at that, it looks all funky. But now the tie rod should be right in the middle of that. But I gotta shorten it up because it's like 48.5 center to center, and it needs to be like 43.5. But I also have to make a little kind of bump out in the center, and that's going to take up some material, so I might cut it a little longer than that, you know, just because when the steering does its thing, when it moves and these arms go this way and this way, the points, oh, the terminology here, the tie rod end moves forward and comes kind of close to the front cross member there. So I'm gonna give like a little, you know, not a belly, but a sideways belly to the tie rod, so it's not a slight one. So it kind of clears that as it's going side to side. And yeah, just so everything works correctly. That's what we want. We want it to work correctly. Adjusting it might be a pain. You might have to take the tie rod end off, spin it, put it back on. I want to get away from that if I can, but it seems like everything's just so close right now. And the problem here is we're trying to go so low. The 4-inch drop axle with these bones, it just seems like, as you saw in yesterday's video, it's just too much of a drop to go underneath the bones. It's too much. So we got to go above the bones, but it's also not far enough backwards to clear. It'll steer fine, but you can't like go to full lock because you'll end up hitting the cross member. So I want to give a little relief there, and that's all I'm trying to do. That's all I'm trying to do. You know, you got to modify things, but I'm not cutting the car, just cutting a tie rod. So not the end of the world. Yes, I could have gone with those funky tie rod ends that go up. But again, if you get stuck on the side of the road, if the tie rod end like catastrophically fails, it's hard to get one of those tie rods. They usually don't carry them in the stores, but these generic tie rods, you can get them anywhere. So that's why I want to go with this and just kind of modify the bar itself. All right, that's my spiel. And honestly, thinking about it, if you're adjusting suspension, I mean the tie rod, I'm pretty sure if you lift the car up and let the suspension hang, we'll be able to kind of adjust it almost like an old-timey, you know, drill. Because I'm not going to bend it much, just enough to clear the cross member. So yeah, I think it'll be fine. I think we'll be able to adjust it just like normal. So yeah, don't worry about that. And I know I feel myself like kind of justifying everything I do all the time, because I get a lot of comments of people say, oh, I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't do this, and I'm just kind of foreseeing it. I'm gonna try to stop that, because even though it doesn't seem it, I'm confident in everything I'm doing. I'm just trying to, for some reason, tell you guys why I'm doing it. I don't know if that helps or it makes me seem less confident. I don't know, but I'm not. I'm confident in everything I'm doing. I'm just trying to mitigate the backlash from some people. With that being said, I'm gonna go cut this tie rod, weld it back together, and bend it. Put it in there, and I put it, you know, lock to lock, as in hit the cross member one way, hit the cross member the other way, and it's like 14.5 from here is where it contacts you know. So I'm probably gonna go 12 inches from each side. I'll start the bend. So I got plenty in the center, because there's still some more to turn. So that means it's gonna hit further over here eventually. So 12 inches is a good number. I mean, even 10 inches, I don't know. And I gotta figure out how I want to do it. If I want to, you know, come straight 10 to 12 inches, have like a round shape, and then come back, or come in, kind of kink out, kink over, just a straight section, and then kink back in the straight. Probably do that since it's easier, or not, I don't know. I'll figure it out. All right, we got this in there now. Let's see, let's check this out. No hit. Hits the stop on the spindle. Doesn't hit anything else. It might hit that, but I can swing this thing to the top, because it wants to hit that, kind of. I think. Yeah, it does. So I'll just move that to the top. That's no problem. That's no biggie. I can loosen this, spin it up to the top. Cool. Now I can take the front end back out, clean up the bones, paint everything. Yeah, Bob is definitely your auntie. Sweet. Sweet. I'm gonna borrow more paint from Andy. Alright, had to do a little adjustment on the length. The tie rods were like maxed in and still not quite there yet, so, you know, let's see what this does. Oh, if I did it too short again, or what? Maybe I have to tape measure out and measure it. .48 7/8. .48 13/16. Should be the opposite. Okay, good. We need to add some length. That's what we can do. Maybe. See what a turnout does. Make sure that's in. Make sure that's in. .48. Ooh. Almost 15/16. Did that make it worse? I feel like that just made it worse. Oh yeah, that made it worse. Okay, yeah. I need to go in. I think I did. I think I screwed myself. I think I made it like just big enough. Idiot. I took a ½ inch out of the center. I don't understand why it's giving me so much trouble. I'm gonna have to take the fucking inch out right now. Okay, 48 7/8. 48 7/8. This is perfect right now. Actually, that's not bad. I'm gonna leave it. because I might not be able to tell. Sorry. I might not be able to tell the difference from just this distance, but from that distance, it might be towed. Because we want this towed in, the front of the tire towed in 1/8 of an inch compared to the back. And if this is even, maybe a little bit, you know. Yeah, okay, I like it right there. I like it right there. And I'll tighten this up. Tighten this tie rod up so it doesn't move. This is definitely what we need. Good. Just gotta degrease it, paint it. Alright, so this is all wire wheeled, ready for, you know, a quick wipe and paint, but I still need to figure out the shock. So I need to figure out where this needs to end up from this mark here. So I'm gonna put this back in again, jack it up so it's, you know, this weight on the car, and then I gotta measure where this is so we can put that dog bone back on. And I'm gonna cut the dog bone in half-ish, so there's like one bolt hole. There's 2 in them. If you cut it down, you can get like a couple inches or so. So I gotta do that, and then hopefully I can do a test fit. I can't paint because I ran out of paint, and he doesn't have any more paint he can lend me. And the only downside of this shop is that there's really not a close hardware store. Everything's either 20-30 minutes away, and I might as well just go home if I have to go there. So I'll stop on the way home. But yeah, I want to get this all together for the most part, because I got stuff to do. This is taking too long. I don't know why it's taking so long. It's just a drop axle. It should be a swap it in, come out. But everything is fighting me every step of the way. Like, this car does not want to go low, but I am going to make it go low. Put this in, figure that out, and then I can blow this front end apart, make the necessary adjustments, put it back together, drop it on the ground so we can see what it looks like, and see if we need to take more leaves out of the front. Not more, but if we have to take leaves out of the front, because that's a common theme, we might have to do that. I want to do that before we paint. Like, I want to make sure everything works before I go and paint it, so I don't have to heat anything up or weld on anything and have to paint it again. this guy here needs to be 1.5 inches long. 1.5 inches total. So I gotta cut this guy at 1 inch. Maybe. Will that work? Well, we'll find out. Might be a little longer than 1.5 inches, but we'll make it work. There and there. I'll cut this guy there and there. To the bandsaw we go. Whoops. Okay. Bzzz, bzzz. Oh, look at that. Shorty. See? I'll do the other one. Bzzz, bzzz. Oh, yeah. Yeah, as you can tell, I forgot to record. So the battery died, but I got those dog bones shortened. I got the perch pins, the little stud for the dog bone shortened up, so everything will work fine. I taped everything up, got it prepped. It's at Andy's shop next door getting painted. He just put a set of self-etch on there. We'll go in there and check on how he's doing.